Time for a little exercise, don't you think? We are going for a bike ride through the Teutoburg forest. It will also be sort of a journey back in time, since we've made plans to visit the Farmhouse Museum near Bielefeld. There we'll get a feel for farm life back in the good old days. Good old days? Well, I'll let you be the judge of that. But here's an interesting fact. The museum highlights the same period of time that Wagner spent in Bayreuth composing his operas.
It's cold, barely 2 degrees Celsius. But Lucy Depper is valiantly peeling potatoes in the old and drafty bakery.
The wind whistles through every crack, even if you plug them up, and the cold gets in everywhere. It's bad. It might be only 5 degrees warmer than outside. As you can imagine, it's pretty realistic.
Realistic for about 150 years ago. Back then, people had to work hard to survive. Lucy demonstrates what it was like. For instance, when she bakes a Lappenpicket, a potato cake poor people used to eat.
People put into the cakes whatever they had on hand, things we wouldn't call food nowadays. They'd grate sawdust and leaves into the dough.
We're lucky. Today, instead of sawdust and leaves, there are eggs and flour in the dough. The Bielefeld Farmhouse Museum is in the middle of Teutoburg Forest, a hiking destination and learning centre at any time of the year. For its director, Dr. Rosa Rosinski, there's no more interesting place to work.
What's always fascinated all of us here is how people back then found solutions so they could secure a livelihood and not go under.
The fire was a place to cook, a source of heat and light, and the centre of the farm. In the large threshing hall, people and animals lived together under one roof. The concept behind the museum: teaching history by telling stories, explaining things like the 1.5 sleeper, the bed for 2 people, the dairymaid and farmer's daughter with just 1 blanket.
That meant they could warm each other up, and it protected them from sexual assaults by the men on the farm. Girls often got pregnant here, and they had the feeling that they were stronger as a pair.
It was loud in the flax mill where the plant fibres were beaten to make linen. The poor people's dish, piquette, played a role here as well.
These poor people used potatoes twice. Before they made a picout from them, they extracted the potato starch. That is, they pressed it out of the fresh potatoes. And that potato starch was used to starch the linen when it had been woven.
The potatoes in Lucy Depper's piquette dough are allowed to keep their starch.
It'll take a while now. It needs a bit of time until it firms up.
It's good that you can enjoy the piquettes and cakes in the farmhouse cafe next door. It's guaranteed to be warm in there.